Well, it looks like the Senate has just passed the Inflation Reduction Act. So in this video, I'm going to tell you where it's going to go next and if Biden is likely to sign it, and I'm going to go over what is in this new spending bill and why is it called the Inflation Reduction Act if it's a massive multi-$100 billion spending bill. I'm going to tell you what they're saying about it in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind and Write. And on this channel, we are covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the Late Night Grind community. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. Also, if you do a couple of things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button. Watch the video all the way to the end. Those really do help out a YouTube channel. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Yes, so Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote just the other day, passing, at least in the Senate, this Inflation Reduction Act. This is a $740 billion spending bill that was actually created in order to, defeat the inflation. Now, how can you say spending hundreds of billions of dollars, printing hundreds of billions of dollars out of thin air, how is that going to help inflation? Well, I'm going to tell you what they're saying about this bill, what's included, and was this name given a friendly name in order to push it through and get market sentiment behind them. So as of right now, it has passed the Senate, it goes to the House of Representatives, and then it will go onto Joe Biden's desk where he will likely sign it. Interestingly, odds makers have said it is unlikely that Joe Biden knows more than 25% of what's actually in this bill. And so take that for what it's worth. But nonetheless, the United States government is printing $740 billion in order to fight inflation. But isn't printing money what got us in this mess in the first place? Yes, but I'm going to tell you how it's going to get us out towards the end of the video. So a lot of this bill is based on things like healthcare, IRS, expanding the IRS, and climate issues, and giving subsidies to companies, giving subsidies to buying electric cars, and so forth. So let's start with electric cars. As of right now, it looks like they're giving a $7,500 tax credit if you go ahead and buy an electric vehicle. They will give you that tax credit on the spot. If you that's for a new car. You can buy a used EV and still get a $4,000 tax credit. The only problem is right now there's only Teslas and GM EVs are qualifying. It does look like some more may qualify for it, but it's unsure as to how far in the future that's actually going to take. And the last I checked, if you go and buy a Tesla, a brand new Tesla, it's still about a 9 to 12 month wait to get your new Tesla. And so when the United States government gives incentive for people to go ahead and buy Teslas, buy these electric vehicles, well, that's probably just going to put the wait out even longer. This coming right on the backs of news that Tesla put out its lowest number of Teslas in a month in years. Now, a lot of this has to do with the chip supply shortage, as well as other supply chain issues related to China and some of the other resources that they get over in Asia. Not being able to put out as many Teslas. Well, now the U.S. government is saying, go get in line for a Tesla. You only have to wait a year. And we'll give you $7,500 tax credit right up front because we want to spend $740 billion. Okay, so what else are they going to be doing? Well, there's going to be a lot of incentives in this bill for companies to limit their carbon and methane emissions. You saw that coming. They are going to allow for some more fossil fuel production and for more drilling production. However, it's going to come at a cost. This is where they're going to end up making some of that money back, or at least attempting to. Now, some of it has to do with the use of public lands versus the use of private lands, and it really doesn't affect a whole lot the United States citizens, other than the fact that it's not going to bring the price of gas down any lower. So nonetheless, it was called an inflation reduction bill, but really it's a bill to get their green energy spending passed. Now, the other thing that should scare you, and this is about the IRS and the expansion, very rapid expansion of the IRS. Last year, the IRS budget was about $12 billion. Right now, through this bill, the IRS's budget is going to be $80 billion. Why? Well, because they're rapidly expanding the number of people working for the IRS. In fact, they're hiring 87,000 new IRS agents. Why? Because, of course, they're going to be going after the United States citizens, after United States businesses to claw back as much of that tax money as they can possibly do. Now, they're going to be going after billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, right? And getting billions of dollars from them in taxes, right? No, not exactly. This bill says that $40 billion of that $80 billion has to be spent in targeting individuals that make less than $200,000 a year. That's pretty much everybody. So they are going to be doing heavy auditing of, well, pretty much everybody. So don't do any funny business on this year's income tax returns because there's a good likelihood that you're going to be contacted by the IRS because, of course, they're desperate for money. Now, in this bill, they said it's going to help drive revenues for the United States government because, yes, they're spending $40 billion going after Because yes, they're spending $80 billion expanding the IRS, but they're anticipating over $200 billion of tax revenues coming back in that they normally wouldn't have seen. Now, that's a speculative number. That's not guaranteed. Especially if they go after businesses, there is a lot of loopholes that they can go through, and who knows what's going to happen when midterms come, if some of this stuff is amended, changed, rolled back, or who knows what. So that is one thing that I am definitely keeping an eye on. And finally, turning to the healthcare front, what they're going to be doing, at least the headline maker, is that they're going to be giving the opportunity for negotiating drug prices for Medicare specifically. But the problem with that is it's not actually going to start for another 4 years. So the idea is that it will bring down drug costs, but only for the top 10 drugs, and eventually it'll expand to 20 drugs, but not until 2029. They're also mentioning how specifically for Medicaid that drugs will be capped at a certain price. So this is also how they're anticipating bringing back in some more revenues in via this bill. Now overall, they're saying that even though they're spending even though there is a total outlay of $500 billion, they're anticipating over $800 billion in a return. But like I said earlier, that's just a speculative return. They're anticipating that $300 billion is going to bring down the federal deficit. And of course, by doing that, it's going to decrease inflation. At least that's what the White House is telling us. So if you want to know how everything, including food, gas, electricity, is going to be getting cheaper, well, it's because the United States government earned an extra $300 billion. That's going to take care of things, right? Well, a lot of this is very speculative in nature, and of course none of it is involving any kind of stimulus whatsoever. Because with the macroeconomic backdrop that we're sitting in right now, well, that just wouldn't be prudent. Because as of right now, I think, at least on the Democratic side, they're holding things like stimulus hostage, so to speak, so they can use that as a talking point before midterms actually happen, because that is a big driver of public interest. But right now, we are waiting for this bill to go to the House of Representatives and, of course, to go be signed by Joe Biden. And like many of the other bills that were passed by the United States Congress, it's going to take some time for it to actually take effect. But nonetheless, I'm going to be tracking this along with any others that come up before midterms, because it looks like the Democrats are getting fast and furious with items that they're trying to get passed through before these midterm elections. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.